So with your permission, we'll start right now. So again, thank you all of you for joining. We're not taking for granted the fact that you invest your time with us. So we are thrilled to have you join us today for a live webinar, again, using MCP to solve real-world use cases with GenAI agents and Bria on AWS. I'm Yoav Marcus. I'll be your moderator for today's session. So whether you're dialing in from the UK, Europe, Israel, elsewhere, thank you for taking the time to be with us. Today's webinar is all about turning GenAI theory into practice. So we'll explore how agentic workflows powered by Amazon Bedrock and Bria's MCP server can automate complex tasks like generating content and visuals, and how MCP helps standardize and streamline it all. Our experts driving today's session, as you can see here, are Misha Feinstein, CDO at Bria.ai. Hello, Misha.
Yeah.
Misha will showcase how Bria's GenAI visual tools integrate into enterprise workflows via MCP for seamless production-ready results. We also have Eliad Maimon here with us. Hello, Eliad. Thank you. Eliad is a senior GenAI startup solutions architect at AWS who will walk us through how Amazon Bedrock and the MCP enable scalable, secure AI agents. And last but not least, our own Damian Meltzer. Hello, Damian.
Hey, Yoav.
Thank you. So Damian is a GenAI solutions architect lead at Automat-it who will lead a live demo showing an AI agent creating an entire blog post and a custom visual using Bedrock and Bria in real time. Also, more logistic things. Please remember that if you have any questions that you would like to ask our speakers, and hopefully they'll answer, write them down in the dedicated Q&A box, which appears at the bottom of the Zoom window, and we'll try to address them all towards the end of the webinar. And in addition, our last few minutes of the webinar will include a short live raffle in which one of you here will be able to win the $100 Amazon gift card. Lastly, as I wrote also in the chat, please note that this session is recorded in order to share it later on with all of the registrants and attendees like you here. So now I think we can start. So Damian, over to you.
Thank you, Yoav, for the introduction. As you mentioned, I have a short slide to explain what we'll cover today, but we would first start by putting the basis and explaining what an agent is and how we came from prompt engineering to now agentic system. I will also show how MCP is a new standard in AI agent integration that is super helpful for us. And then I handle the mic to Eliad, who will explain how we do that on Amazon Web Services with the correct libraries, services, and so on. And last but not least, Misha will finish this presentation by showing what Bria allows to do and generate visuals that I maybe need for my blog post. So, and along that presentation, we'll have some demos, one from me and one from Misha. So let's start. So if we had that conversation last year, I would say, okay, we are in the world where you have 4 steps to do agentic system. One that is prompt engineering solely, and basically it allows you to build generative AI assistants. So single tasks models with reactive response only, and you need a human. To interact with the prompt and ask questions, things like that. And you're very limited to the knowledge of the assistant. And one way to fill that gap last year was to do what we called retrieval augmented generation, meaning that if you give some context to the agent, to the assistant, he's capable of answering questions that he was not capable before. The example that I always give is if you ask a model, who is Damian Metzler? Most of the time, he will tell you that I'm a football player from whatever city in the world. So he's making mistakes, he's making hallucination. And if you tell him, okay, Damian Metzler is a solution architect at Automat-it, who is Damien Metzler, he will be capable of answering. That's retrieval augmented generation. The way we get those information, the way we augment the system is another field of exploration, but that's the idea. And last year, I would have said, okay, next step is fine tuning, which is expensive, complex, time consuming. And the step after is training your complete AI model. Fortunately, there's been a field that expanded more and more since last year. It's the field of AI agents. And AI agents are a complete different beast because they are here to achieve a single goal, a task. And they can address then a large range of tasks. And they actually do things, they complete tasks on their environment. We'll see how they do that later. And that way you can automate entire workflows with AI agents. And the next trend is agentic system, which are a collection of agents that are completely autonomous. Think of, for instance, what happens when I receive an email. I can start an agent that will classify an email, maybe draft an answer, and then send a message to Slack saying, okay, you had that email, I draft an answer for you, you just have to review it and click on send. And you have complex agentic system like that with multi-agent and the orchestration of those agents. So on the left here, you needed some human oversight, meaning conversation with the human, whereas on the right with agentic system, they can be fully autonomous, right? So that's a bit the evolution that we had from 1 year, from prompt engineering, RAG, to today with agents. And the result is that it's super popular. Gartner predicts that in 3 years, so by 2028, 1/3 of the enterprise software apps will have agentic AI features, whereas in 2024 it was only 1%. So 1/3 of all the application. So that's the prediction from Gartner. You take it as you want. And the other thing is that it means that 15% of day-to-day work decision will be made by those agents, meaning that all those agentic systems that were autonomous, they will accomplish 15% of all the day-to-day work decisions, meaning answering to emails, sending Slack message, taking decision based on security threats or whatsoever. So it's super important that if you adopt AI, you know what's an AI agent now. So concretely speaking, what is it? An agent, it's a piece of software. So don't think of an AI agent like a model. It's a software system that can leverage the models to reason, to plan, and to complete tasks on behalf of us humans or systems. Complete task means, for instance, sending an email, receiving emails, sending a Slack message, booking a hotel, whatever you want. And how that works, that's quite simple. Here we have our AI agent, and you can think of the brain of the agent being a large language model. So on Amazon, you would use Amazon Bedrock, for instance, and use Claude 3.7 Sonnet to be the brain, or even the Sonnet 4 if you want. And then that you will plug to that agent some additional tools. Tools can be whatever you want. It's just some piece of software. And we usually categorize those tools in 3 categories. The memory tools that will take care of the memory of the agent, knowing, so short-term memory, for instance, to know what was said just before, but also it can learn from your users with longer-term memory. For instance, if one of your user always buy Adidas shoes, you know for a fact that he likes Adidas shoes. So you can save that as a fact and it becomes into the memory. And that way your agent will probably offer more Adidas shoes than Puma, for instance, or Nike. Another type of tool is knowledge bases. That's the type of knowledge bases that we use for retrieval augmented generation. So it's basically documents that you can query, semantically query to get knowledge from it, and augment the context, augment the knowledge of the large language model. It's work than right. And then you have other tools, those homegrown tools, the one that interact with your API, for instance, and the one that are coming from ISV products. Think, for instance, interacting with your Google Calendar or thing like that. The challenge in developing AI agent is that you have several agents here. So 3 agents, and you have 3 tools. And they all interact with all the 3 tools. And each route that I've designed here is a separate integration. The problem here is that it's a software development problem. You have fragmented development, and each integration, separate integration is required for each tool, and that's problematic. So last year in November, Anthropic, the company that is behind the Claude model, proposed a new protocol, a new standard protocol that's called MCP. It stands for Model Context Protocol, which is an open protocol that is here to standardize the way our agents connect to tools. If you want a better picture, it's often compared to the USB-C cable and ports, but for your AI application. And if we go back to our problem of fragmented development here, with MCP, it becomes that schema. And you can see that the AI agent needs to understand the MCP protocol, list the tools that are exposed, and consume the tools that are exposed. And the tools need to offer some tools to the MCP protocol. And that way you don't have to re-architect everything every time. How it works? This is the most complex slide of my presentation, so don't be scary. The first thing that a tool does is that when it starts, an agent is listing all the tools from all the MCP server that it has been configured for. And it gathers the list of tools, the list of resources, the list of prompts that are offered by the server. And when a user query comes from the left, for instance, it sends the query to the large language model and with the list of tools, resources, and prompts that he have. And if the large language model thinks that it requires, for instance, our third tool here, it will call back the agent and telling him, I need to call that tool and you need to give me the answer. That's basically the workflow of MCP. The benefits of MCP is that for tool or API developers, it allows them to focus on building MCP server just once and see the adoption. For AI application developer, and they can just focus on their MCP client and add tools or switch tools, for instance, to discover resource prompts, tools, or whatsoever. And for enterprises, it clearly offers a separation of concern between your AI products and teams. So it's a lot of slides, so it's time for my first demo. Let's build an agent, and let's start with a very, very simple and dumb agent. Something that I want to recall lots of time is that an agent is not context aware. It doesn't know the date of today. And even if you ask twice the question, it will give you a second answer. So here we add a tool to tell him the day. And when we call the agent with that tool, then the answer is correct. If we want to add an MCP server, that's exactly the same. We just implement that MCP client. From that MCP client, we can list the tools that are available from that MCP server. And then we can give our agent the list of tools that he can run. And for instance, I can ask, what is my agenda for today? So it will connect, it will first call the today tool, then get calendar events from Gmail and gets my calendar. Oh, today I have a webinar on MCP to deliver. It's up to date. But our example were about writing blog posts. So my blog is quite empty and old here. Log4Shell was years ago, and I need to write a new blog post around AI agents, for instance. The first thing is that we'll need some tools. And here I will create a research assistant tool. Basically, it's an agent that has access to Perplexity using the MCP Perplexity integration to do some research. Then I need a tool that knows how to publish my blog. Actually, publishing my blog is quite simple. It's creating a markdown file somewhere on my laptop. So it will just add the front matter in Markdown, and that's all. And after that, the only thing that I need to do is write a prompt for my blog post to explain how I want to write a blog. I give him the two tools that I've just defined, and then I want to write a blog post that explains how to write an AI agent. So he will first do some research and then send the result to the publisher. And you will see that my blog post is immediately updated with the new blog post here. I can click on it, and I have a full-blown blog post ready to be read. So you can see that here, my agent was autonomous. I didn't do anything, and it published the thing on my blog post. But the only thing I'm worried about is that the first picture of the blog post is not super genuine, and I don't even know if I have the rest. Maybe someone in the audience has an answer for me or a solution. Eliad, can you tell us a bit more about agent on Amazon and on AWS?
Sure. I just want to share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Damien. I'm Eliad Maimon, Generative AI startup solution architect in AWS, and I work with Bria and other generative AI startup. And as Damien said, I will talk on how AWS can help you build generative AI agents. I want to start with a short reminder on the basics. What is Amazon Bedrock? Amazon Bedrock is a managed service that allows you to consume a wide variety of LLMs and other foundation models. The foundation models are from leading AI companies, including Anthropic, Meta, Mistral, of course, Amazon, Nova models, and other. In addition to the option to consume LLMs via API, Bedrock have several features and capabilities that allow you to build generative AI application. Capabilities like you have the option to import and customize models for your specific needs. You have a managed knowledge bases for RAG. You have guardrails that help you add responsible AI, prompt caching, and of course, related to our topic today, Bedrock agents. All of this backed by the level of security you know and expect from AWS. Damien has already reviewed it, so I'll just do a quick walkthrough. There are various definitions of AI agent in the industry, and we define AI agents as autonomous systems that can reason, plan, and complete multiple steps on behalf of humans. And agents break down the instruction into executable tasks. They use tools and information to take action. And importantly, they are capable of observing the results. We also at AWS believe that agents will have a significant effect on our lives. The advance in model reasoning, automation, and price performance allows for more robust workflow automation and higher ROI. These factors lead to generative AI use cases evolve from outputs to outcomes. In fact, per Gartner, by 2028, at least 15% of daily work decisions will be made by AI agents. While the potential of agents is exciting, customers have told us they have faced several challenges when trying to build production-ready AI agents. Some of the challenges developers face when building agents include steep learning curve, lack of visibility, controls, and flexibility, managing complex orchestration logic, and enterprise production readiness. AWS provides different options for building and deploying agents. In this session, we will focus on Amazon Bedrock agents and Strands agents. AWS also provides Amazon Q, pre-built products that uses agents. We have Amazon Q for developers, which integrate into your IDE, Amazon Q for QuickSight embedded into your BI tool, and others. Just recently, I worked with Amazon Q for developers, which is CLI, which is an agent. I use it to optimize the cost of my AWS work account, which I don't pay for, and it did an amazing job. And I recommend you to try it and to play with it. It's really can give you value. Let's start with Amazon Bedrock Agents, our fully managed solution for building and deploying AI agents. With managed service, you are not starting from scratch. You are leveraging AI and orchestration capabilities right out of the box. Amazon Bedrock Agents allow your team to focus on your business logic. This approach reduces the time and expertise needed to get a production-ready agents up and running. As I mentioned before, we have several challenges when trying to build production-ready AI agents. Development team struggle with complex technology stacks and infrastructure setup. Operationally, managing multiple agents and orchestration is challenging. Security and controls requirements add another level of complexity. Think on governance needs and compliance requirements. And the rapidly evolving technology landscape make it very hard to stay current while maintaining a production system. I want to walk you through some of the core capabilities of Amazon Bedrock agent and how it enable you to mitigate some of the challenges of building agents. First, we provide choice of foundation model optimized for specific agent tasks like reasoning, planning. These models are specifically tuned to handle the agent's complex decision-making. For tools, agents include action groups, inline agents, and code interpreter. Memory management allow handling both session state and long-term retention. And when it comes to security, also already mentioned it, agents is built on AWS robust security infrastructure, including integration with Amazon Bedrock building guardrails and security control. Finally, we provide tracing, debugging, and observability tools specifically for monitoring and improving agent performance. I want to review an example of the flow. You will be able to control and configure the different features and capabilities in this flow. So first we have the task that we are giving to the agent. It's getting it. is using the additional information, of course, the prompt and knowledge bases, history, to enrich the prompt. You also have the ability to add guardrails to that steps. From there, it's creating using a chain of thought the steps, and able to operate different tools. It's calling the tools, getting a response, returning the results to the agent. Then the agent is doing another thinking, another work with the model, getting the final result. You have the option to, again, use guardrails to limit the response and sending the response back to the user. And you will be able to control only some of these features or all of them. Yes? Did someone said something? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can, Eliad.
Okay. Okay, so I will not walk through all the capabilities of Amazon Bedrock agents, but I want to mention that in the rapidly evolving technology landscape, we keep updating and adding features to support our customer needs. One of the recent capabilities of Amazon Bedrock agents is multiple agent collaboration. With this feature, agents plan and execute complex tasks together. This feature will help unify conversation across agents, improving handoffs and improving user experience. Over here, we have links that will enable you to get started with the Amazon Bedrock agent and learn more about it. I'll give you a second to copy it. The next and last agents, strength for building agents using just few lines of code. Strength is a lightweight, flexible SDK that allows you to build complex agentic workflow. Strands agent provide a fast path for building agents, and it's really easy to get started with it. It is simple to use. It's handling complex agent orchestration. It has built-in MCP support. It's model agnostic. You can use Amazon Bedrock, Anthropic directly, Light LLM, Llama, and other custom providers. It has advanced capabilities like multi-agent system, autonomous system, and streaming support. And by open sourcing, we aim to provide developers with powerful, flexible tools to build agents in the rapidly evolving agent landscape. Here are more detailed list on the different features and capabilities, and the Git repository include example of these capabilities. Also over here, we have links that will enable you to get started with it and learn more about Strands agents. I will give you a few more seconds to copy it. And that's it from my side. Thank you. And now Misha will take it from here.
Thanks, Eliad, for this session, and thank you everyone for joining. I'll share my screen for a sec. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
So following what Damien and Eliad shared about how agentic autonomous systems work and how MCP contributes to that, I would like to kind of talk a little bit about how in Bria.ai we solve real pains around visual generative AI and how all this connects to to MCP and agentic systems. Before that, 2 words about myself. So my name is Misha. I'm 38, from Israel. I'm in this space for more than 20 years, juggling between code, AI, and real business world stuff and solving real problems. But what I actually do is running after my 1-year-old son most of the time. So that's about me. And let's talk a little bit about Bria. So not as AWS, probably not all of you are familiar with Bria. So Bria is basically a startup that is providing an enterprise-grade visual generative AI platform as a service, which means we try to allow our customers to utilize the visual generative AI technology in order to push their products and their workflows forward. And if we try to kind of summarize in one sentence, what we are doing is we're trying to somehow build a world in which both human creativity and responsible AI innovation coexists. And while I'm saying human creativity here, what I actually mean is that in order to provide this coexistence, we need to think of 2 main things. The first thing is obviously responsibility, how we make sure that we respect data ownership, both for the foundational models, but also for the fine-tuned models of the customers and of the companies that are actually tuning the models afterwards and don't want to share their proprietary data, how we keep copyrights and empower authentic creation. But in parallel to that, what I mean in allowing human creativity is actually ties very, very closely to tech. And that's the idea that in order to empower that, we need to provide companies and R&D teams around the world with a very flexible platform that allows them to own the technology and keep building on top of it, and not only using end applications which know how to generate or edit videos and images, rather than manipulate their own products. So when we think of building this kind of visual AI platform, we basically break it down to 4 main components that we try to follow at Bria. And the first one is, as I said, the first 2 maybe are focusing a lot on the R&D teams that are basically our users. We are not targeting to creative people, we are targeting to the R&D departments that are building tools for these users. So we value a lot both the flexibility and the velocity of these teams. And by flexibility, I'm talking about the very large range of tech people with different skill sets, going all the way from AI researchers and data scientists that know how to take an open source model and train it with source code and weights, all the way to other consumption ways like RESTful API, embedding of iframes and MCP that I'll talk about in a second, and basically utilize the capabilities. In addition, we want those teams to both be able to run it as a SaaS product, on-prem, on their own clouds, etc. While giving these capabilities, we value a lot also the velocity. And for that, we are relying a lot on being compatible with the community and providing a very robust recipes and documentations and pipelines, etc. Going down on the 2 lower boxes here is all about quality and being enterprise grade, as I call it, or solving real commercial use value. It's nice to generate horses on the moon or unicorns on the moon. It's even more fun. But when you need to generate something that is valuable for commercial use, you need to be able to both play with the combination of authentic and synthetic data, while keeping, for example, in e-commerce use cases, sometimes keeping the product itself authentic and not touching any pixel of it. But you also need to to follow some guardrails and compliance rules and be trusted and transparent about where your data coming from in terms of training the foundational model. On the quality side, when you're working with enterprises and for commercial use, you always want to make sure that something is that your outputs are very predictable and controllable and on brand. So for example, if you are working in a Ferrari and you want to generate a horse, it's nice to generate a horse, but you actually want the specific horse of Ferrari, which is completely on brand. So how we achieve this entire platform, we basically developed a very unique patented tool, which we call attribution engine, which is allowing us on post-generation of every image to understand who in the training set are the most contributing images to this specific generation. So for example, in Bria, if we have 1 billion images in our training set for the foundational image model, after every generation, I'm able, like the sample on the right, I'm able to say that for this guitar generated image, I have 73 visuals from my training set that contributed to this generation. And basically, I can create an economy that pays back royalties to the original data owners. This engine basically drove all the biggest data owner companies in the world, like Getty Images, and Vado by Shutterstock, Alamy, Freepik, etc., to basically give us legally all the data without scraping. We did not scrape anything from the internet. And basically, we are sharing with them royalties according to influence. And we are able to provide to our customers full indemnity and privacy and copyright infringement for the generated data. This basically means that our foundational models are built on top of three, let's call it safety layers, which combine both pre-training, in-generation, and post-training, while in the pre-training, as I talked about it, we are training only on fully licensed data without any privacy and copyright infringement, no public figures, no not safe for work or violent data. During the in-generation, we have the content moderation, which is plugged in also to the AWS models behind the scenes, and we're able to block any content. And then obviously on post-generation, we are paying royalties and we are marking every content. Going back to the tech, so when we are building this entire ecosystem, it's not only about being safe, it's also about being tech-oriented. So we basically built an entire platform for builders that provide not only the capabilities themselves, but also the full set of support in order to develop quickly and efficiently platforms and products on top of Visual GenAI. And we're currently building the platform for images, videos, and sound, while image and video are also already out. Images in GA and video is in EA. Sound is still in the oven. So I hope you all will wait and see it coming out as well. And now going back to a little bit to the MCP talk that we are all here for. So when you are talking about things like visual generation, there are like the amount of capabilities that is out there is just insane. So that's, for example, the set of capabilities which are opened by RESTful API on Bria just for image generation and editing. You can see here things from generating image from text, guiding generation by structure, removing background, expanding image, blurring, doing whatever you want. In the middle, the product shot editing that I was talking about, which is combining authentic and synthetic data, and then tailor generation, which allows customers via API to train basically their own models or to fine-tune their own models, and on the right side, the models themselves. And a reflection of this is also available on video. And in the, let's call it in the previous world, when companies would like to integrate such a system, they would have to now integrate every API endpoint and basically build their own workflow on top of it. But the world is changing. And as Damian and Eliad shared, there is a new player in the neighborhood, which allow you basically in a very quick manner, in a very short time to market, to build a very complex set of capabilities and share it with your users by basically combining different AI platforms and different AI tools, and basically reduce a lot the effort of building this system, and also allowing your customer to enjoy a very natural language interface. If you think of it, this MCP standard is basically allowing a very easy interoperability between things that before that were not interoperable. So Damian just said, I'm building a blog post and I'm creating several tools, and then I actually don't like the image in the beginning of this blog post. So it's really easy now, in the case of Bria, to plug in our MCP server to this flow and say, actually, I also want to generate an image that is following the blog, and then Bria will get behind the scenes the text of the blog and will generate the image. But it's not only generating the image, you can also keep editing it and basically fine-tuning the image itself to whatever needs you want. So it basically, if I'm talking about the structure that I try to sketch here on the right side, it basically provides a good closure to a very full spec of different layers of capabilities that can be integrated in different ways, but now in a very, very simple way. I would maybe finish this short presentation with a short demo on how Bria capabilities are basically integrated easily as an MCP server to Claude. So what you see here is basically a Claude instance in which I'm telling him, generate an image of a cat, of a fluffy cat, and then replace the background to something that I want, because I actually know what I want in the background, and then blur the background because I don't want it to get too much focus. And then on the API, I will let it run. But if you think of it, on the API that I just showed you, that like the big slide, it's a combination of 3 different endpoints that you need to somehow orchestrate and implement on your side as a client, while implementing them, integrating the MCP server, it basically allows you in natural language get behind the scenes all these capabilities at once in one integration, a very simple one, and allowing you to basically build a very efficient image editing or generation tool to our customers. So you basically see here how the LLM is managing all the different asks in a row, going back and forth, understanding what was already executed. You see that the text to image, the generation itself was executed, then it replaced the background. Now it's blurring the background. And the cool thing here is that in the chat itself, you will be able to then basically go and see every step in the process and analyze whether it was done correctly and basically met the requirements. I will let it finish in a sec. So you see here, for example, that's the cat that we got. Then we replace the background of this for this cat. Etc. etc. I think I will skip.
Misha, can you zoom a little bit? Can you zoom in a little bit?
I can do something like that. Is
Thank
that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That's basically it from my side. Sorry. Yeah, and basically what you can do with it is Bria, we're releasing this MCP server next week in 6 days with our latest foundational model, which is called Bria 3.1. And surprisingly, it will be the first visual MCP server, visual GenAI MCP server out there, the first official one, which is not community based.
Misha, thank you so much for your presentation. Basically, all of you, Misha, Damian, Eliad, thank you. That was really insightful, and I can just let you know from the chat and also from the Q&A box that people were really engaged and were really interested. So thank you once again. I can also see right now in the chat people say thank you. Don't go anywhere because now we have the Q&A part. So with your permission, I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Yes, alrighty. So, just making sure, can you see my screen? Perfect. Nodding is good enough. All right, so first question would be, what's the best way to get started with Bedrock agents or standards agent?
Okay, so really the links that I shared are the best way to start with it. Both the Git repository have a getting started, really easy to get started with strands agents. And also in the documentation, you have an easy getting started with Amazon Bedrock agents. You have an example or to do it through the AWS console and to define the basic things, or to do it via API. So the links that I shared are really good reference to getting started with it.
Thank you, Eliad. And yes, I can definitely, in addition to what I said before, I saw a lot of people who were interested in getting those QR codes. So thank you for sharing them. Next question would be, I think it's for Misha. Can you explain how Bria is different from other visual Gen AI solutions available in the market right now?
Yeah, I think it's good. Thanks for the question, first of all. I think Bria is a very unique combination of on one side, it's also already a used word, but a true responsible AI platform that is trained only on 100% licensed data, which is not scraping the internet, and providing the full ownership on the data and full respect to the data owners and paying back royalties. That's one side. But on the other side, and that's for me as a tech person is almost the more important part, is the fact that we are not targeting to the creatives directly. We're targeting to build a platform for tech people, for developers from different ranges of skill sets, through, like as I said, from open models all the way to low-code, no-code solutions. So we try to empower them to build their own products, and that's a unique combination currently in the market.
Thank you very much, Misha. I think another question for you is, will using Bria as an MCP make the integration within different workflows, such as ones combining LLM easier? Or perhaps can you give us an example for a use case?
It's a great again, thanks for the question. Great question.
Sure.
The short answer is yes. We see a lot of customers of ours implementing Bria capabilities into their products. Many creative platforms that are integrating each and every API that we have, and then opening a UI interface to their customers with buttons and sliders, etc. Basically, the Bria MCP server allows them to change their entire UI to text box, which a chat box, which is talking to their customer, and behind the scenes just integrates with the Bria MCP server and does all the capabilities in one integration. As in a sense, as I showed in the very small and simple example with the Claude.
Perfect. Thank you, Misha. I can see another question on the chat again. All of you attendees, thank you for writing that, but please make sure if you want us to somehow address those, please write it in the Q&A box. I can see another question for you, Misha. How do we make sure that the generated images are moderated? Can we use this in our automation flow without any doubts?
Yeah, the answer is yes. So as I shared, we have 3 layers of moderation in our platform. The first one, and probably the most important one, the root moderation that we have, is that all our training set is fully safe. We did not scrape the internet, so we got all the images and videos for training from our data partners, curated, high quality, no not so safe for work data in it. That's the most important part. With that being said, it's not enough, because if I have knives in the kitchen in my training set and I have kids in my training set, I can generate something like a kid holding a knife and threatening another kid. And that's why we have another layer, which is in-generation content moderation, which is basically classifying and detecting the output image and prevents not safe for work outputs. On top of that, because we kind of part of the companies that are pushing these regulations, we are marking all our content as AI generated, which is super important for us, so people will know it's generated by AI. But generally speaking, to the question, the answer is yes. We see a lot of customers that are just implementing our capabilities into their automatic workflows and don't worry about content moderation at all.
Thank you, Misha. I believe the next one would be for Eliad. The question is how to choose between ChatGPT or Bedrock for a project which have to do quality control in transcription audio.
Yeah, you have to not be biased, right?
Please try.
First of all, I'm more aware of the technicality of everything in Bedrock in compared to other vendors and cloud solutions. And I want to say that it's really depends on your use case, because there are good models on all platform, very capable models. And if you really want to fine tune it, you will need to have a small POC. You can start from the benchmark to understand which model will be more relevant to your application. But at the end, you will need to do a small POC to see which model gives you the better results and continue from there. I hope that answered. And it's not ChatGPT. I think you refer to OpenAI as a provider, right? Yeah.
Yeah, most probably this was the meaning of the person who asked that.
Maybe I can add something to this, because we have lots of customers that wants to migrate from OpenAI to Amazon Bedrock. And the rationale for them is usually sovereignty of data, knowing where your data are, and security, which is priority number 1 at AWS, like always. The second reason why they want to switch is because on Amazon Bedrock, you have a wide variety of models that are up and running just when you create your account. If you're in US West 2 region, for instance, you have an access to something like 40 different models right away. Some small models, some larger models. The Amazon Nova models, by the way, are super interesting to study as they're cheap and quite efficient. And if you don't have the model on Amazon Bedrock, you can switch to, for instance, SageMaker, which allows you to run pretty much all the models from Hugging Face. So it gives you lots of choice there.
Thank you so much, Damian, for adding that. Now, I know that we have more questions I can see, but unfortunately, in terms of our timing, we're not able to address that. But please If you do have any kind of questions, so make sure to contact us via LinkedIn or also via email. I'm sure that all of you already received the email address during the invitations that you received before the webinar. So feel free to enter your questions over there, and I can make sure to address them to the relevant speaker. I would like also to show you this QR code again for a few seconds, just to let you know that since we are almost done with this webinar, we can also share with you that our next webinar is due on July 30th. In this time, we will host the CTO of Emacs Digital, and the webinar, as I mentioned, will happen on July 30th. And basically, in a nutshell, you'll be able to learn how GenAI skeleton can provide a secure foundation tailored for your company's needs with audit readiness, observability, and continuous cost optimization. So feel free to scan it and register for a webinar. Obviously, we'll send also email invitations, several, and also LinkedIn posts.